3 decades, college football's top assistant coaches have come to Central Arkansas in hopes of taking home the most prestigious honor a coach can receive, the Broyles Award.
And head coach Frank Broyles.
Named in honor of the Hall of Fame coach at Arkansas, Frank Broyles.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we look at the race,
Finalists have included some of the biggest names in the sport, like Gus Malzahn, Lincoln Riley, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, and Joe Brady. Frank Broyles' work in selecting and training assistant coaches is unmatched. Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Joe Gibbs, Hayden Fry, and Johnny Majors are just some of the 27 coaches who worked under Coach Broyles and later became successful head coaches themselves. His assistants won 6 Super Bowls, 5 college national championships, and more than 40 conference titles. Coach's incredible legacy extends beyond football. His playbook for Alzheimer's caregivers has impacted millions of people all over the world, and proceeds today support the mission of the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation, supporting caregivers in crisis at no cost.
It's been a Razorback miracle that I've witnessed, and the fans of Arkansas deserve all the credit. They're the ones that made everything happen. Thank you very much.
We lost Coach in 2017, but today in Hot Springs, his legacy shines brightly. Welcome to the Broyles Award.
Live for the first time from beautiful Oaklawn, Hot Springs, the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation proudly presents the 29th Annual Broyles Award presentation, featuring our 5 finalists: Arizona State Offensive Coordinator Marcus Arroyo, Indiana Defensive Coordinator Bryant Haynes, Notre Dame Defensive Coordinator Al Golden, Tennessee Defensive Coordinator Tim Banks, and Texas Defensive Coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2024 Broyles Award finalists.
As I mentioned, college football, obviously, along with the NFL, they're the king in America when it comes to sports. And it's so cool to have the best of the best here tonight. A sellout crowd shattering the attendance record here tonight. We could not do this without some amazing sponsors. Of course, number one, let me just recognize Oaklawn here at Hot Springs. Wayne Smith has raised the bar. Obviously, I started this 29 years ago. And I can tell you this, nobody's done more to help us get ready to raise the bar for the next 30 years than Wayne Smith, the general manager of Oaklawn. The 2 greatest brands, if you think about it, the 2 greatest brands, sports names in Arkansas, Broyles and Oaklawn. Oaklawn's been around 121 years. Coach Broyles since the 1950s. You can't put 2 more powerful brands together. Wayne Smith saw that, and he's worked very hard to have this kind of tournament tonight. Let's give it up. Let's please welcome Wayne Smith, everybody.
That is tough to follow. Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our over 900 management and staff, Oaklawn proudly welcomes you to the 2024 Broyles Award. Welcome. Thank you. Before I actually start, can I get a big round? I don't know if they can hear us in the back, but can I get a big round of applause for our chefs and our servers and all of our food and beverage folks? This is the biggest crowd that they've done to date, and so they did a phenomenal job. I hope everybody enjoyed your food. It's the best food in Arkansas. You won't find any better when it comes to an event. So I'm proud of our team. Wow, what an incredible turnout we have tonight. We are especially honored to host this year's event here in Hot Springs. Our storied town, as Baz was mentioning earlier, is rich in history and tradition, and we encourage you to take advantage of everything Hot Springs has to offer during your visit. A very special thank you to Betsy, Molly, David, and Jeff for believing in the Oaklawn staff, and after 28 years moving this prestigious event to Hot Springs. A night or 2 in our hotel and some spa treatments didn't hurt, by the way. Just Molly, Betsy. So they took a leap of faith in moving this event, and judging by the more than 800 attendees, I think it's safe to say this will be the best one yet. To the high school coaches in attendance and the 5 college football finalists on stage with me tonight, your impact on America's greatest pastime does not go unnoticed. You are the backbone of your programs and your communities. You help shape young men's lives, and you're the driving force behind their success on and off the field. Your commitment to the sport is truly inspiring, and we are grateful to all of you for what you do. To the 5 nominees, 5 finalists, best of luck tonight. No matter the outcome, your achievements and contributions to college football speak volumes. Thank you. Enjoy the evening, and once again, welcome to the 2024 Broyles Award.
Been doing this for 28 years. We've never had a team of 20 people. The team here at Oaklawn, hotel, spa, racing, tonight. I've never seen anything like it. We're so blessed. I know Molly and Betsy would agree with that, Coach Broyles' daughter and granddaughter. So honored to be here tonight. So honored that Hot Springs stepped up and helped. If you would allow me just to thank a couple of sponsors, a few sponsors, if you will. Visit Hot Springs, Steve Harrison. Nobody promotes a city better than Steve Harrison in this whole country. Amazing job that he's done. Thank you, Steve, for what you've done. Lexicon, Patrick Schick, Jennifer Schick, Marge Schick. They're the ones, coaches who built Jerry Jones's Cowboy Stadium down in Dallas, and appreciate Lexicon. Lindsay Management, Lindsay, thank you. Sigma Supply, Essity, Scott Bakes Hamby. Summerwood Partners, can't thank Dave and Doug Hendricks and their family enough. Hatcher Agency, Greg has been so great to help us in all the transportation and travel sponsorship with his Twin Cities limo and other things that Greg does. Arvis Bank, Hot Springs, Franklin Bass, and Don Gooch. Future Marine, Rick and Tara Kesterson, appreciate them. Go Hawks here. Tito's, Matt Curtado, we appreciate them. WK Kellogg's, Frosted Flakes, as I mentioned earlier, and their team. Quattlebaum Grooms and Toll Law Firm, thanks Tim Grooms, thank you. O'Connor Distributing, Jake Duplantis, we appreciate them. And our culture circle, Biotech, Hope Benedict, Bowtie Wealth, Dennis Berry, Centennial Bank, Jeff Hildebrand and Kim Pruitt, Grand Village, Rochelle Johnson, Hot Springs Title Company, Bill and Roarenbeck, James Bornhoff Law, James Bornhoff. Let's give a round of applause to all those great, amazing sponsors. All of you who bought tables, it means a lot. To look out here, when I told our finalists, we've never had a crowd this big. Been doing this for 29 years. Never seen a crowd this big. Shattered it. See you down there, Patrick. Never seen a crowd 800. So, and I've been to all the awards. There's not an award that has a bigger crowd than this in the nation. And so I have to think that Coach Broyles has to be looking down and going, I'm happy. I love the fact, because this is why we did this thing, to honor the role of the assistant coach. Do want to thank our media partners, KNWA, KRK, who's streaming this tonight, Lisa Kelsey, AY Magazine, AMP Magazine, Heather Baker for her great coverage of what we're doing. Thanks so much, Heather. 103.7 The Buzz, 11 hours of live programming. We're simulcasting this live on The Buzz tonight. We'll be here tomorrow morning broadcasting live. The Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Wally Hall, Amanda Copley, been here since day one. The Broyles Award team, Jeff Grooms, thank you so much for all you do with the foundation and our award. Kyle Deckelbaum, outstanding. Our Touchdown Club volunteer team of 20. We have a volunteer team for the Touchdown Club of 20 people who've come over here for 2 nights to be here, a part of that. So thank you to Debbie Wyman and all the volunteers there. Wes Sutton and Broadwater, Alicia Dover, and all the hosts who have been taking care of our finalists tonight. If you don't mind, let's give them all a round of applause, please. Can't do it without them. Tomorrow morning, coaches, you'll have a chance. Back in the day when Coach Broyles was still with us, we used to have a breakfast when Coach Broyles would come in and talk about his history. Well, we lost Coach, and so what we've tried to do every year is bring somebody that was around Coach Broyles. Tomorrow, we have Rick Schaefer. Rick Schaefer was a longtime sports information director going back to the 70s. He will share some amazing stories about Coach Broyles and how unique he was. I mean, again, one of the great, coaches and administrators of all time. So thanks to Rick Schaefer. We appreciate him. We've got some national media here tonight. Josh Pate, of the Josh Pate College Football Show. Thank you, Josh, for being here tonight. One of the really great, entertaining guys. He knows football left and right. Brought his gal tonight. Took good care of her with spa treatments today. Glad there. And Brandon Marcello, who is a national college football reporter for CBS Sports. Brandon is an Arkansan. Great to have Brandon here tonight. And it's also nice to have U.S. Representative Bruce Westerman, 4th Congressional District. He's a reappointed chairman of the House Committee on Natural Resources. More important, he's a former Razorback. Let's give a round of applause for Bruce. Where's Bruce at? Where's Bruce at? Raise your hand, Bruce. Where's Bruce at? Hey, Bruce, there you go, way in the back. I'm sorry you're way back there. I'm sorry. So all I know is you were after me. You should have been saying, man, I wanted to meet that number 53 with the neck roll, the mustache, and the big traps. That's what you wanted to be right after I got through. But thanks for having Bruce here. Thank you for what you've done here in this state. Also want to recognize the Broyles family in addition to Betsy and Molly, who I'll introduce here in just a minute. If you please stand. So the Broyles family, going back for 29 years, have tried to make all these awards. And so time goes on, and so glad to have those are here. So hold your applause. And this time, Jack and Janet Broyles, Linda and Jim Mays, Lex, Gina, and Huck Broyles. Please stand. Let's welcome the Broyles family. Where are they at here? Where are they at? Right there. One of the great things about the Broyles Award, I told the coaches, when I went to Coach Broyles and said, we're gonna make this award for college, for assistant coaches, who do you want in the trophy? This is a $5,000 trophy that goes to the winner every year. We've done it now for 29 years. And Jan Woods, who is the sculptor, Wayne does all your sculpting for all your horses. You know, American Pharoah, Smarty Jones, Mystic Dan. So when I asked Coach Broyles, I said, who do you want? You want Joe Gibbs? You want Barry Switzer? You want Johnny Majors? Hayden Fry? He said, no, I want Wilson Matthews. So Wilson Matthews right here was one of the great high school coaches. Most of you know this. At Central High School, coaches, he would travel all over the country and beat everybody from Central High School. So that's who's on there. So it's so cool. This is the 6th year that we've done the High School Broyles Award, where we recognize the top high school assistant coach from each state in America. So we're up to 40 states. Up to 40 states. We have 31 states represented here tonight. If you will, let's stand up, those 31 states. Coaches of the Year, Assistant Coaches of the Year, please stand. Please stand this time. Where are you at? There you go. Let's give them a round of applause. So even though right now it's illegal to recruit, right, coaches? This is off recruiting period. Just so happens if you run into the top coach in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Arkansas, who are the best players, those coaches are coaching them. So congratulations. We're so glad to have you here. Tomorrow night, they will have a banquet themselves here at Oaklawn. Matt Rule, the head coach of Nebraska, will be here speaking, so we're excited about that. And because of its growth with over 40 states, they've been able to take on their own initiative. You know, obviously, we're supporting the Broyles Foundation and supporting caregivers of those who are dealing with Alzheimer's. For the high school folks, we're dealing with coaches versus overdoses. That helps educate high school students on the dangers of taking street drugs. 7 out of 10 drugs purchased off the street have enough fentanyl to kill you. So there's a playbook on your table with more information. Please share that with your kids and grandkids. And at this time, we want to recognize a former Razorback quarterback, head football coach at Fayetteville High School, for taking on this important initiative for the state of Arkansas, Casey Dick. Casey, please stand. Let's give him a round of applause. I see you back there, Casey. The High School Broyles Award presenting sponsor is Phil Turf, Jamie McDonald and his team. Box Out, Go Fan, Victory Rings, Game 1, and, of course, coaches versus overdose. So we appreciate that. Tonight, we've had a tradition of always bringing in the governor. I think we've done it for the last 10 years. Governor Sarah Sanders could not be here tonight. She gave a great speech last year, Mark, if you remember. So she said, I can't be here. Session's going on, but I love the Broyles Award. Obviously, my father, Mike Huckabee, loved the Broyles Award, too. So she sent us a video message. Let's go to that now and hear what Governor Sanders had to say.
Welcome to the 29th Annual Broyles Award. I'm sorry I can't join you, but I'm confident that you all are enjoying your evening in Hot Springs, a city that I know is proud to host this special event for the first time. Nothing can beat the talent in this room. Each of you represent the legacy Coach Frank Broyles left behind and help run some of the best college football programs in the country. To our 5 finalists, only one of you can walk away with the award, but all of you have shown yourselves to be outstanding assistant coaches. To David Basil, thank you for everything you've done to grow the Broyles Award into a nationally recognized honor. And to Betsy and Molly, thank you for reminding us that some things are bigger than competition. Tonight is an evening to raise money for a great cause, and remember that while Broyles was a great coach, he was an even greater husband, dad, and grandfather. Welcome to the Natural State, and please enjoy this evening's event, and congratulations to everyone being honored.
Thank you, Governor Sanders. Thank you so much for that. Molly and Betsy, I want to make sure to mention a couple other sponsors that I didn't see in my notes here. Steve Qualls, Design Lab, who does all of our merchandise. Thank you so much, Steve. Rockstar Passes, Brad Rickett, Joey Gonzalez, thank you so much for what you do. Could not do this without you. You know, it's great to have the governors of our state know what this award is about. I'll never forget that when I pitched this award, and I told this story to the finalists today. So I had no money when I started this thing in 1996. So I went out to a banker, and I said, "Would you loan me $40,000, $50,000 to do the Broyles Award?" He said, "What do you have as collateral?" I said, "I have nothing." And so he's no longer with us. He's a wonderful soul. His name was Joe Ford. So he ended up loaning me $50,000, $60,000, and got up to $100,000. I was paying more than my mortgage for the Broyles Award debt every month. But I'll never forget one of the special things about tonight, which I knew Coach Broyles, he got it. He knew about assistant coaches. He knew one of the great things about his tenure was developing and picking great assistant coaches. That's why we're here. 27 head coaches after him. You know, Joe Gibbs, Jimmy Johnson, Hayden Fry, Johnny Majors, Barry Switzer, and on and on and on. So I'll never forget, I told this story to the finalists tonight. I said, I called that first class in 1996, Mickey Andrews. Back then, the coaches were making $150,000 a year, unlike they're making now. Just saying. So I called Mickey Andrews, and I said, "Coach Andrews, congratulations, you're a Broyles Award finalist. So excited to bring you into Little Rock for the ceremony." He said, "David, I'm so excited. It means so much to me. Thank you so much for calling me. Can I bring my wife?" And I'm like, sure, Coach. We can take care of that. And so obviously I called the next coach and said the same thing. You know what they said? "David, can I bring my wife?" And so the next coach I called said, "David, can I bring my wife?" So I started panicking, and I called. Listen, I didn't have any money. I said, Coach Broyles, I said, "We're in big trouble. I'm in big trouble." I said, "All these assistants want to bring in their wives to the event." You know what he said? This was the great wisdom of Coach Broyles. I have such great memories. He said, "Oh, David," in that Georgia Southern slang, he said, "Oh, David." He said, "That's great to hear. You know why, David? That means it means something to them. They want to bring their wives." And I said, "Okay, Coach." And so tonight is such a great night to be able to not only recognize these 5 finalists, but the folks in their lives that have helped them get to this point. And you don't have to know anything about football. I'm just telling you, I've done this 29 years. You don't have to know one thing about football. Tonight, when you hear these 5 guys talk about their significant other and what they mean to them, you'll see what this award is all about. So I have to appreciate Coach Broyles' amazing vision. And of course, the other part about this is that when I started this back in 1996, we did not have a charity component. So what was it, 10 years ago, Molly and Betsy, I decided to say, why don't we give this thing back to the Broyles family, and see if this can be something that can benefit the Broyles Foundation. And because Coach Broyles lost his wife, Barbara, to Alzheimer's, and his daughter, Betsy, took care of Barbara. And then Coach Broyles, sadly enough, also died of complications from Alzheimer's. So that's why we're here tonight. So we're here, Coach, to recognize all you guys, but there's a bigger purpose. And so this is my favorite part of the program. I love what the coach was going to say earlier. We get to go back in time, and a lot of these guys, some of these guys are still young. Some of them are a little bit older. They're in the 50s and 40s. But I want you to watch Frank Broyles, this guy right here, and listen to his passion of why we're here tonight. And after that, we're going to bring up Betsy Broyles Arnold and Molly Harrell and talk about the Broyles Foundation and the bigger purpose of why we're here tonight. If we could go to the video.
In Arkansas, we're so proud of Coach Frank Broyles, who in 1964 gave us a national football championship. But the coach's greatest contribution may be the guidance he's given to millions of families caring for loved ones with Alzheimer's disease.
Frank Broyles has always met challenges head-on. The right mix of preparation, inspiration, and communication made him a winning coach. When Barbara, his wife of over 50 years, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, he brought the same proven combination to that battle. Again, preparation came first, a step far too many caregivers forego.
You can't make a game plan if you don't know your opponent. And we knew nothing about Alzheimer's.
After the entire family learned all they could about what Barbara would need, they found inspiration by embracing the challenge.
Being a caregiver is the greatest gift you can do for your loved one. And our family all believe that. We took it as a positive.
But it doesn't remove all the heartache and hard times. Alzheimer's is a thief of the worst kind.
They lose their memory, their judgment, their reasoning, and their language. And in the first 3 or 4 years, they go from a normal person to an age of 20. And so Barbara didn't know me because she remembered me at 20. I had red hair. And she would look at me as gray hair, and she wouldn't know who I was.
They would have to get to know one another time and again, rebuilding trust from scratch almost daily. It took some creative communication.
You communicate with somebody that doesn't have a memory, doesn't have a reasoning, doesn't have judgment, and can't speak.
Early on, he could strengthen their bond by sharing the memories Barbara could recall. It was wonderful medicine.
A great lesson for anybody listening as a caregiver, you go back and discuss the memories with them when you sit down and relax, and that brings joy to them.
As Barbara's disease progressed, even those early shared experiences became irretrievable. He coped with her growing insecurities through the tone of his voice and the touch of his hand. Very little of their communication came through words.
They live by the look on your face. They live by the tone of your voice. They don't know what you're saying. See, Barbara didn't know my name the last 2 years of her life. And, but when I'd hold her hand, oh, she would relax and be calm and all because she felt safe.
With Alzheimer's, nothing can reverse the inevitable, but the family could provide the security she craved to ease her fears.
If they feel safe and loved, then dignity will prevail.
It certainly did with Barbara. She died in 2004. Frank still misses her profoundly, but he hopes caregivers will understand that if you take a winning attitude to a losing battle, you still walk away a better person.
From the Longevity Center at St. Vincent, I'm Dr. David.
Please welcome Molly Arnold and Molly Harrell and Betsy Arnold Broyles, everybody. Come on.
Thank you very much. Just watching that video, my sister Linda is here, and she helped me take care of my parents, and could not have done it without her. But the funny thing about watching that video is my mother always called my dad the big one. You know, you heard him say she didn't know his name the last 2 years, but she called him the big one. You know, when's the big one coming home? And she would stand at the door and wait for him. But anyway, so if my dad were here, my dad always said that everyone has compassion. And when that compassion turns into, everyone has compassion, but when that compassion turns into passion, it propels action. That's why we do what we do. And like my father, I'm passionate about helping families facing Alzheimer's. We know firsthand the challenges that caregivers face day in and day out, navigating an unforgiving disease that changes everything. But we also know that with the right education and support, families can provide better care while providing a better quality of life for their loved one. That's why we're committed to do what we do by providing free caregiver education. We provide one-on-one counseling for families. We help them understand the disease, how you care for it, give them real-life examples to navigate their experience, and we provide online digital training to help expand for caregivers everywhere. Compassion is powerful, but action changes things. So tonight we are asking you to join our team, and together we can turn compassion into action, and we can make a difference in these caregivers' lives.
I have a little laryngitis. What a time. But if my grandpa were standing here today, he would say a resource should never be a financial burden on a family. He would tell you that fewer than 10% of families remain financially independent during a diagnosis of dementia. He would say, in the way that only he could say it, you can be a difference maker in the lives of these caregivers. And that's what we're asking tonight, for you to be a difference maker. For nearly 20 years, the Broyles Foundation has provided resources to families, all at no cost. But we need your help. On your table is a donation envelope and a card for you to consider being a monthly partner or making a one-time gift. We want to thank you for your consideration joining our team so that we can continue to provide resources at no cost to caregivers for another 20 years. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Betsy. At this time, we want to bring up one of the greatest offensive linemen in the history of the game of football, Mark May. I'd always heard over the years that when I was doing the Broyles Award, once Mark May becomes your friend, he's a friend for life. So you're talking about one of the greatest Washington Redskins of all time, Outland Trophy winner, those teams for Pitt at Jackie Sherrill. Unbelievably, Mark, you had 3 teammates on offense that went to the NFL Hall of Fame Gold Jackets, including Dan Marino, and that's not even counting you, goes on to be one of the greatest Redskins of all time, playing under Joe Gibbs, who was an assistant under Frank Broyles. And so Mark May has been coming to the Broyles Award for 10 years. Not asking for a penny, just coming to say what Frank Broyles means to me. There's a great story about you and Frank together, but he looks like he could still play. And, of course, he was one of the Hogs. Coaches, I don't know if you remember the Hogs for the offensive linemen with Riggins and all those guys. This was one of them, one of the greatest football players in the history of the game of football, College Football Hall of Famer. Let's give it up for Mark May, everybody. His 10th year here at the Broyles Award.
Well, thank you. It's good to come back to the great state of Arkansas. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'd like to congratulate these fine coaches on terrific seasons. But the thing is about me coming back to Arkansas, it's a little personal. Coming back to the Broyles Award means a lot to me. The foundation does, and the Broyles Award obviously does for just about every player in the country that can be involved with this and every coach that recognizes this. It's kind of personal to me to come back to this country. Being an original Hog of the Washington Redskins, how in the world could I not come back to Arkansas? It's Hog country. In keeping with tradition with the Broyles Award, every year for the past 10 years, we brought back the prior year's winner. This year, it would be Phil Parker from the University of Iowa. He's been in coaching for over 4 decades, 25 years, a quarter of a century at Iowa as a defensive coordinator, one of the best assistant coaches in the history of football. But unfortunately, he had travel issues and he's unable to be here, but he did send a video. Let's take a look.
Good evening to everyone. I wish I was there with you tonight, but obviously the airlines had different ideas. First, I'd like to thank coming out tonight to support the Broyles Foundation and deserving finalists. I also want to thank Wayne and the staff of the Oaklawn for hosting the Broyles Award this year. I'm looking forward to getting to see it at the venue myself sometime soon. I would like to also congratulate the coaches there tonight. As you know, it's a great honor to be recognized, and you should be very proud of the seasons that you guys have had. Coaching allows us the ability to shape young men and help them reach their full potential on and off the field. I know I'm very fortunate to be able to coach young men and be around other great coaches. So again, thank you for all being part of the evening, and best of luck to the finalists.
We have a real treat for you this evening. There's a player here up on the dais that, guess what, we have something in common. Both of us were former first-round draft picks of the Washington Redskins under Joe Gibbs, who was an assistant coach of Coach Broyles, myself and Desmond Howard. When Desmond walks into a room, he lights it up with his laughter and his smile. I can't walk into a room and see Desmond there and not start smiling and laughing. He lights up the room. One thing about Desmond Howard is, if you ever meet him, you're always going to like him. With Desmond's career, I'll give you a sports analogy particularly related to horse races for all you bettors in there, because I'm a horseman myself. Desmond's already hit the superfecta in life, with sports and life. He's won the Heisman. I was going to say Outland Trophy, but he's won the Heisman Trophy, Super Bowl MVP. He sits as one of the hosts of our greatest college football show on the planet, College Football Game Day. And to fill out the superfecta, both of his twin sons are now enrolled at his alma mater, the University of Michigan. Let's get to the videotape.
College Football Hall of Famer, Heisman Trophy winner, ESPN College Game Day analyst. Desmond Howard is one of the most recognizable faces in college football. A standout wide receiver at Michigan, you might remember the Heisman pose he struck during the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry game to celebrate a kick return touchdown in 1991. When that season was said and done, Howard had won the Heisman Trophy, Maxwell Award, Walter Camp Award, and earned unanimous All-American honors. After college, Howard was selected 4th overall by Washington in the 1992 NFL Draft. He went on to play in the league for 10 years with 5 different teams, winning a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. During Super Bowl 31 against the New England Patriots, Howard ran back a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Desmond Howard all the way.
The longest return in Super Bowl history at the time, and earning him Super Bowl 31 MVP honors.
Trying to fight through it, but defensively, they will consistently put...
Following his playing days, Howard transitioned into a prominent role as a college football analyst for ESPN. On Saturday, you'll find him with the rest of the College Game Day gang at campuses around the country. Please welcome to Hot Springs, college football icon, Desmond Howard.
Get your mic. Desmond, well, welcome back to Arkansas. You were here for the Touchdown Club probably 8-10 years ago, but your first Broyles Award. This is your first Broyles Award. You were here at the Touchdown Club 10 years ago, but it's your first Broyles Award.
It is, and this has been fantastic. I tell you what, Molly and Betsy, you guys did a fantastic job. What the foundation does is just remarkable. And but just the 5 finalists, you know, I know these guys and their work, and it's they're very deserving. I can't wait to see who's going to win it tonight. Very excited to talk about each and every one of them. But thanks for inviting me, and thank you for that warm welcome from my good friend Mark May. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that, brother.
You know, one of the great things when we started this award in 1996, Desmond, you started on the anchor desk of College Game Day in 2005.
Correct.
So one of the things that I thought when we created this award in honor of Coach Broyles in 1996, I wanted to see how it would resonate on College Game Day. Didn't take long for you guys, you and Kirk Herbstreit, and back then Chris Fowler, now Reese Davis, and Lee Corso, to talk about, hey, this guy, it's about 4 or 5 weeks, you might say, this guy's doing such a great job, he could be a Broyles Award candidate.
Yeah, I mean, we understand, we appreciate the role that assistant coaches play, with their teams. And most of the guys on the show either played college football or coached. So we understand exactly what these guys go through. I mean, it's an incredible grind. Personally, during the season, I'm one of those analysts who I don't feel like I necessarily need to speak to a head coach just because I understand their schedule and how busy they are and everything they're preparing for. And if I want to talk to them, game days there is probably a big game that they're preparing for. So I really respect their schedule. So I would talk to an assistant coach, a coordinator, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. And, those guys, they know much more about the game plan than anyone else. So I just have a tremendous amount of respect for what they do. Everyone on our set has a lot of respect for what they do, and we understand that these guys are like the spokes of the wheel. Like, they keep it rolling.
So Desmond, one of the things that I don't know if you guys realize for College Game Day, as you mentioned, you come in during the week and have a chance to visit with these guys to help you prepare for the broadcast. So without going into detail about each one of them individually, all 5 of these guys took their teams to playoffs. There's some historic achievements with this group. What would you think collectively as this Broyles Award group?
I like this group. I was looking at the list, and I was like, wow. I mean, you probably don't have a better 5 finalists in any awards, as far as college football is concerned. And you look at Marcus and what he was able to do at Arizona State, that offense. Marcus is a coach that if you meet Marcus, I don't know if you guys, I'm assuming you watched the CFP, the college football playoff, right? So Arizona State, like their offense, he's an OC. They had an incredible amount of confidence going to the playoff. Like, the quarterback was talking about he was better than the other quarterback. And this is a case of the players adopting the attitude of the offensive coordinator. Because Marcus is a very confident guy. I mean, you see him, you're around him, you know he knows his stuff. And that's what you saw on the field with Arizona State, on their offense. Bryant coached at Indiana. I was kind of pissed at Bryant, really, because he beat the Wolverines, and then he turned around and lose to Ohio State, And I can say the same thing about Pete. They opened the season off, they beat Michigan up in Ann Arbor, and then they turn around and they lose to Ohio State in the college football playoff too. But both coaches doing a fantastic job. Pete actually had my favorite defensive player in the college football playoff. Do you know who that player was, Pete? Where you at? Huh? Andrew Makuba. That guy was fantastic. If you didn't see him, man, he was a hell of a defensive player. And so he had like one of my best defenses. I loved watching their defense because of Makuba. And then you got Al. I've known Al Golden since he was at Miami, University of Miami. And Al's no longer going to be in college football. He's moved on to the NFL, to the Shield, but enjoyed watching Al. And one thing I can say about Al, I'm a type of guy who I like coaches who are able to do more with less. And I don't think there was a coach during the season, especially when it was playoff time, that had to go into the college football playoff without as many starters on his side of the ball, which was defense, than Al Golden. But he was able to still get to the national championship game. So my guy, Tim Banks, hey, Tim, how you doing, brother? Tim is a guy who I've had, the opportunity to talk ball with also. And, he's been tasked with preparing for some of the best offenses in the country in the SEC, which is actually a great basketball conference. Yeah, the Big Ten runs college football right now, in case you guys didn't know. But all these guys are worthy finalists, so it's great to be up here and be a part of this, David. Thanks for inviting me.
You bet, Desmond. I don't know if you guys know, so Desmond was recruited and signed by Bo Schembechler. Coach Schembechler was one of the guys when I asked Coach Broyles back in 1996 and asked him for the selection committee. I said, would you call Coach Schembechler and ask him to be on the committee? And he did. So Coach Schembechler, we've got a video. We don't have it tonight. But he came back and said, David, he said, one of the greatest things I've done since I retired is being a voter with Coach Broyles on the Broyles Award committee, because he knew the role of the assistant coach. If you think about it, So under you, when you were at Michigan, you played 2 years in the Bow, but after that, his assistants were Lloyd Carr, Les Miles, Gary Moeller, and a guy named Jim Herman, who won the Broyles Award in 1997. So you know about great assistants when you were there under Bo.
Yeah, I did. Obviously, you said I played under Coach Bo Schembechler for 2 seasons, but then after he retired, his assistant coach, Gary Moeller, took over. And, Coach Schembechler had a pretty impressive coaching tree. Maybe not as impressive as Coach Broyles, but, he had a couple of coaches who went on to coach in the NFL with Gary Moeller and Cam Cameron. So I always had a lot of, tremendous amount of respect for the role that the assistant coach plays, because he's pretty much the extension of the head coach. And if you have an offensive-minded head coach, your defensive coordinator is even that much more important, because he pretty much runs the defense and vice versa. So I've always had just a tremendous amount of respect for what the assistant coaches do, because they spend more time with the players than the head coaches do, because of the position meetings and the position groupings on the field.
Last couple things before we get to the finalists tonight. So these guys, these 5 finalists, they're all very nice tonight. When I say they're sure thing, Baz, but that's probably not the way they are on the field. So what is when you were playing, did you have a preference, and was there a style of the way the assistant coach handled players back then, maybe versus what coaches are having to do today with transfer portal, NIL? You have to follow that as part of what you do at ESPN. What's your thought between assistants today, what they're having to deal with, and then back in your day?
Well, I kind of feel like I cheat the crowd by answering that, because we got 5 experts right here. They've lived it. And from my vantage point, what I've been able to observe is that first of all, show of hands if you watch College Game Day. Just show of hands.
Outstanding.
That's great. Now, if the person next to you did not raise his or her hand, ask them what the hell do they do on Saturday mornings during college football season, 9 to noon Eastern. No, but listen, because I say that because one of the things we talked about one day on College Game Day was about NIL. And one of the famous quotes came from Nick Saban. Nick Saban said, "We got some Alabama fans in the back somewhere. Surprised they let you guys in." Okay. Anyway, so Coach Saban said, and I never will use this language on air. He said that if you go out and pay the wrong guy a lot of money, then you're going to be shit out of luck. And it's true. So, you have to be careful. It's like free agency now for college football. That's exactly what it is. It's pay for play with the NIL. And one of the other issues that arises that Coach was alluding to was the fact that if you do get this guy and he's like what we call a locker room killer, meaning he comes and he disrupts your culture, then it's going to show up on the field. So these guys, they have a lot to juggle when it comes to NIL, transfer portal, re-recruiting guys who are on their roster now who may be considering leaving and hopping into the portal. I mean, they just have a lot on their plate outside of going to these high schools and recruiting other players to come in. So, yeah, that's pretty much what they have to deal with now. But they can tell you much better than I can.
Last thing before we let you go, Lee Corso, you've been on the desk since 2005. Kirk Herbstreit's a great guy. You mentioned Saban and all the folks on that desk, but Lee Corso, just some thoughts, reflections on what an amazing guy he's been for the game of football.
So Lee Corso is like he's like Stevie Wonder to music. He's a national treasure. Like, wrap those guys up in bubble wrap. You know what I mean? Protect them at all costs. We love Corso and what he's meant to college football. You can't put a monetary value on it, and you can't put it into words. So he's just a special, special member of our team. We all love and adore Lee Corso.
Last but not least, you want to take a shot on who wins tonight? No, I'm not going to ask you to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it to one of the great players of all time, Desmond Howard, Super Bowl MVP, Heisman Trophy winner in 1991.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Outstanding stuff, Desmond. It is time for Mark May to come up and introduce our finalists tonight.
How about that? That was outstanding by Desmond and Bass, huh? Give him another hand. Our first finalist is the only offensive coordinator that is here tonight. Marcus Arroyo is the offensive coordinator for Arizona State University. I personally had firsthand knowledge of watching this team because I live in the Valley and watching them cover them for the local affiliate. If you saw this team in 2023, they were a dumpster fire on offense. They were 3-9. They were using a running back as a wide receiver, a tight end, a quarterback, a punter, the same player. They couldn't even move the chains. They had open tryouts in 2023 for walk-ons on campus. So what do? They hire Marcus Arroyo. He turns it all around. He brings in a young quarterback in Sam Levitt, and he's got a great running back in Cam Scadaboo, and guess what happens? This team turns the page. All of a sudden, they're in contention for the Big 12 championships, and they win it. And they get to the playoffs. And he's done a terrific job with their offense, and this is why this team is going to be set up for success down the road. Let's get to the videotape.
Marcus Arroyo, offensive coordinator, Arizona State.
Before the 2024 season began, the Arizona State Sun Devils were picked to finish dead last in the Big 12, but managed to prove the doubters wrong.
Trailing by 2 possessions. Scadaboo's going to try to throw it downfield, and it is caught. And into the end zone goes Malik McClain. Cam Scadaboo.
Winning a Big 12 title and making the college football playoff. A big reason for that was their electric offense led by Marcus Arroyo. The only offensive coordinator who is a finalist for the Broyles Award tonight, he turned around the Sun Devils offense in his first year with them, almost doubling the team's scoring average from 17.8 points per game in 2023 to 32.9 points per game in 2024. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Marcus Arroyo.
Well, good evening. This is an awesome event. This is fantastic. I started thinking about this award early on and seeing the list of guys, and everyone said this is an offensive game. I'm not sure that's the truth. I watched the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that's the truth anymore. It's humbling to be up here with this group. I've played a bunch of these guys in my past in different spots, and have come across them in different paths. And as good of coaches as they are, they're even better men. And so it's great and humbling to be up here. It's a privilege to be up for this award and nominated for such a prestigious award in a beautiful location like this. I've got a good friend, Todd Monken, who was also a finalist or semifinalist, I believe, many years ago. We're really, really close. And he happened to call me the other day, and he's pretty pissed off that it's at Oaklawn with horses now. So he's probably going to put in a call to you guys here soon. So if you guys know Todd, you know he's not short on words. I think I got a chance this morning to wake up, and our room overlooks the track, which for anybody who's got a chance to see that in the morning, to get up early and have coffee and watch half of Pete's defense warm up from 7 to 11. It's fantastic, and it's a little bit of PTSD this morning to watch it, but it's unbelievable to watch that. It's a really cool deal. My wife and I got to watch it. We got to go to the spa here today, which for us coaches, as we all know, it's a little bit of a foreign territory. But it's amazing because we don't get a lot of time with our counterparts and our wife, and it's an awesome opportunity to go in there and get beat up like inside run drill for about 90 minutes, and it's beautiful though. I mentioned my wife Kelly, who's here. Kelly, if you can stand up, please. Yeah, you got to stand up. This is the deal. This is how it goes down. Thank you. 15 years we've been together. She's been with me from the very beginning. My first award was probably National Recruiter of the Year. I gave it to myself because of the battle I had to go through to get that done. And We've got 2 beautiful kids. We've been across the country, 9 states, 20 years, a dog, NFL, back, Florida to Oregon, and everywhere in between, from head coach to assistant to, and she's been right there by my side as the rock. And there's nothing better, as we all know up here, than going home and understanding that there's win, lose, or draw. You got something really, really concrete at home that gets everything done. So I love you and thank you. Molly and Clayton, Miss Betsy, Jeff, the whole crew here, first-class operation, been to a lot of different awards, a lot of different places in our career. The communication, the help, the assistance, to get you in and out of places with your better half has been nothing short of first class. This is outstanding, so fantastic. This nomination, I think overall, and I think I'm going to share this with all these guys as they get up here, this is 100% byproduct of family and team effort. I'm an assistant coach, I've been a head coach, and have taken on the role as assistant more than I've been the other. And I think that this award goes to the team, and it goes to the family, it goes to the school, because I think, no different than there's more than one person on this trophy. I don't think that's any coincidence, whether it's a high school coach or a college coach, there's more than one person. And then this is a team game, this is the greatest team game in the world, because it takes so many people to step in the right step. I'm just one of the others, my team, the city, the people I got involved with 12 months ago to come over and take over the place that Mark referred to, and turned it into something that the nation was fired up about and our city is fired up about, has been nothing short of awesome. But again, the people, the leadership, the trust, the healthy conflict, all the things that make a good business, a church, a family, anything else work, that's no different than what we did down there in the valley. And I'm just happy to be a part of that piece down there this last year. Those immediate people that I probably need to make sure I recognize, and I think it is important that we do that as much as we want to tell our stories. These people are our stories. The people in our business we spend more time with than anybody than our home. The AD Graham Rossini, the head coach Kenny Dillingham, our assistants, the staff, everyone that we've had a chance to be up from 5 a.m. to midnight with for the greater part of a year. Those people and those players in that city deserve this as much as anybody else, the chance for me to stand up here and represent that pitchfork. A quick origin for myself. It is very, very humbling to be up here. I'm from a town of 1,000 people, 1,500 give or take, in Northern California, up in the Sierra Nevadas, in Truckee, California. Colfax High School, for any of you who've broken down and had to put on chains in Lake Tahoe. That was our stop. You're welcome. Yeah, chain monkeys, let's go. Those guys work hard. That's a place that I would never have come from to envision where I'm at today. But to get here was because of the people that I've talked about before and the group that we've worked with, the Dick Tomeys of the world, the Jeff Tedfords, the Todd Munkins, the Dirk Cutters, the Mike Gundy, the Sean McVays, growing up watching Bill Walsh as a ball boy, running around Sierra College and the 49ers and watching some of those guys through osmosis are the reason that I've turned myself into a career learner and have really taken on the role as an assistant coach regardless of the title. I want to be a helper. I want to be a person that can help impact young people and continue to find ways to navigate such a great game. At the end of the day, I think, we've been a lot of different places and had a lot of different spots with a lot of different people. And I think the whole thing behind what we did down there in the valley and Kenny and his culture really was special. We regenerated a town, regenerated a school, got the nation excited about football that's going to be there for a while. If you 4 gentlemen could please follow Al to the NFL, that'd be great to help us make this next run. Appreciate that. But I think at the end of the day, Coach Tomey, I leave you with this, one of my best mentors and a Bo guy, and Coach Tomey coached for a long time down at Arizona, was one of my first mentors at San Jose State, one of my first jobs. Said it all the time, and it always hit me. Football's not complicated, people are. And I think at the end of the day, as you get older, you start to realize when you're focusing on this game, you get caught up in X's and O's and 3rd down and 3 techniques and corner fire. And at the end of the day, it's about recruiting. It's about getting young people and people around you to believe in a cause. It's about getting people to believe in themselves. And it couldn't be more true that football is the easy part. People are complicated, and spending more and more time with those young guys is what we've done down there, and that's why we were able to, with Kenny's leadership, move this thing in the right direction pretty fast. With that said, again, thank you again for this honor to be up here. I think to close it out, I think make sure we're just being about someone else. That's what this is about. Be about someone else. We're celebrating great calls and great games, but at the end of the day, celebrate a people and a group and a collective effort. Usually it puts guys in position to stand up here and have a hell of a party and go to Pops and give out bet-ons with horses. Thank you. Go Devils.
Our next finalist is defensive coordinator Brian Hayes from Indiana. Think about this. Indiana football. Did you ever really think that they're going to turn the page and be competitive in the Big Ten? Did you think they were going to be competitive across the nation? The reason why they are is through the transfer portal, recruiting, and great coaching. If you saw the Indiana defense over the last decade, they're always at the bottom of the Big Ten or at the bottom of the nation. But what happens is you bring in an energetic coach, you bring in new faces, you bring in new players, and you turn the script. And at Indiana, the Hoosiers are not a basketball school anymore. So with that, let's get to the videotape.
Brian Hayes, defensive coordinator, Indiana.
A turnaround unlike any other saw the Indiana Hoosiers go from the bottom of the Big Ten to college football playoff contenders.
Leonard, bat into the air, intercepted!
At the turnaround's core was an improvement on the defensive side of the ball, led by first-year coordinator Brian Hayes. The Hoosiers' defense ranked second in FBS, allowing 256.3 yards per game while only giving up 15.6 points per game. The defense also held opponents to under 100 yards rushing in 8 of their 12 regular season games, a program record.
Pressure off the edge, and it's intercepted.
The stout Hoosier defense was the catalyst in key wins against Washington, Michigan State, and a shutout to end the regular season against rivals Purdue. While Haynes' first season at IU ended in a disappointing loss against national runner-up Notre Dame, his status as one of the top assistant coaches is cemented in Bloomington and around the country. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Brian Haynes.
Well, thank you. That was flattering video. Appreciate that. It's a blessing to be here. I'd like to start by thanking everybody involved in putting on this career-changing, life-changing event. From the selection committee to the voters, my hosts, Greg Hatcher, Cole and Curtis, Chef Hildebrand, Betsy and Molly. Thank you, Mark May, you're right. I use a football school now. Thank you all for making this such a memorable event. It's truly a blessing to be here. It's been great learning about Coach Broyles as I've gotten down here and realized the impact that he had on so many people's lives. I wasn't aware of how big and strong that is. So as I've learned more about him, I'm just proud to be associated with this award and with Coach Broyles. What he's done is so much bigger than the sport of football, and that's inspiring. I'd like to congratulate the other finalists. Coach Rowe did an awesome job. Coach Banks, Coach Golden, Coach PK, all great coaches and deserving. Honor to share the stage with you guys tonight. As for me, it's a privilege to stand here representing Indiana University. I'd first like to start by thanking head football coach Curt Cignetti. I've been with Coach Cignetti for 12 years now. You don't find that a lot in the sport anymore. Long ago, Coach Cignetti took a chance on me, gave me the opportunity to be a defensive line coach for him, was nice enough to pay me $7,000. And that's when I knew I made it in this profession. That's when I knew I made it. Coach, thank you for your mentorship. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for your unwavering support. Huge thank you to Athletic Director Scott Dolson and Indiana University President Pam Witten. These two have been instrumental providing our program the backing and resources needed to be successful last season and for the seasons to come. I have something special built down there at IU. Felt like my job on Saturdays for the most part was to not mess it up. Do not mess it up, Coach. That was my job. Helping me to not mess it up was the rest of our coaching staff. I truly believe we have one of the best staffs in the country, starting with our offensive coordinator, who easily could be standing here in place of me. He guided the #2 scoring offense in the country, just over 41 points a game. led the nation in red zone touchdown efficiency at 79%. He was phenomenal. Him and his offensive staff, offensive line coach Bob Bostad, running backs coach John Miller, Tino Sinceri, the co-OC, and then Coach Grant Kane, tight end, and also the special teams coordinator. Our special teams finished 3rd in the country in their rankings. So true complimentary football. Grateful for all those guys. And they allow me to play my best call on defense, which is the one where we're on the sidelines watching the offense move the ball up and down the field. Still my best call. Ask any DC up here, we like that one. Now, that being said, when we did take the field, it was an honor to lead the defense, but I did it not alone. The staff on our side of the ball was phenomenal. Defensive tackles coach Pat Kuntz, defensive ends coach Buda Williams, safeties coach Ola Adams, corners coach Rod Ojong. Couldn't have done it without them. The young guys, too, Ben Herrickle, Warren Messer, Chaz LaPointe, Francis Meehan. Men, thank you for your work. Thank you for helping me to not mess it up. Coach Broyles said there's no substitution for good preparation, and that's what our staff does. They prepare their players each and every week. That's what sets us apart. That's our winning edge. Okay, all that said, none of us logged a stat this year. No tackles, no PBUs, no interceptions. That credit goes to the players, and I can't mention them all. I know I'll run out of time, but I have to hit a few. James Carpenter, C.J. West, Macau Kamara, the defensive lineman that got after it up front. Aiden Fisher, Jalen Walker, the 2 linebackers. I'm proud of those guys. D'Angelo Pons, Amari Farrell, Sean Asbury. I'm missing some. Guys, thank you. Thank you, players, for your hard work, for wearing cream and crimson with pride, and for playing fast, physical, and relentless. That's what we believe in. Okay. Lastly, I'd like to thank my immediate family. Thank you to my parents, my mom, Mickey. She was a school nurse for 30 years. She taught me empathy. My father was in the military, was Special Forces in the Air Force. He taught me toughness, discipline. We lost him a couple years back, but those values still run strong, and I think that's what makes me the type of coach that I am. He's missed. My brother Tyler was my role model growing up. He's the head football coach at Catawba College in North Carolina. He's got a beautiful wife, Logan, 3 beautiful daughters. He's a good man and a great husband, and my brother's still my role model. Finally, my girlfriend, Kira, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in me through the ups and downs, wins and losses. More wins than losses. We're gonna keep that coming. But still, it's about the biggest win. It's about the biggest win that's still coming, right? July, we're due with our baby girl. So I'm looking forward to that phase of our lives together. In closing, I'm a small town kid from Northwest Ohio. Never would have imagined I'd be on this stage speaking with you and competing for an award like this. It's a special moment for me. I'm proud to get here. The journey wasn't always easy, but they're not meant to be easy. So I'm grateful for the ride. I'm thankful for all the people whose lives I've touched along the way and have done the same for me. That's what this sport is ultimately all about. I think we can learn that from Coach Broyles. So I'm just proud to be here. Thank you for all of you that were a part of my journey. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Our next finalist is Notre Dame defensive coordinator Al Golden. He's had a lot of stops along the way, but a defensive coordinator at the University of Virginia, Boston College, Penn State, head coach at Temple, head coach at Miami, but his best coaching job was at Notre Dame this season. This is the reason why. When you lose at home to a MAC school in Northern Illinois and get embarrassed, it's tough to rally the troops around and get everybody's head back in the game. But that's what this coach was able to do, and Notre Dame made a run because of their defense to the college football playoff final. With that being said, let's get to the videotape.
Al Golden, defensive coordinator, Notre Dame.
First down, make it 9, touchdown Notre Dame!
Notre Dame returned to the national championship game after 12 seasons, winning 14 games for the first time in program history.
Really can't overstate the impact that Al Golden has had on this defense and on this Notre Dame program. Just done an amazing job. He's a heck of a football coach.
The Irish defense, led by coordinator Al Golden, paved the way for the magical college football playoff run. The unit gave up just 15.5 points per game and finished top 5 nationally, allowing just 169 yards per contest through the air.
Miava, 4th and 6, and it's intercepted again. This
No one took the ball away from opponents more than Golden's defense. The Irish led the country with 33 takeaways on the year. Although the season ended in a national championship loss, Golden played a massive role in returning Notre Dame to the nation's elite. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Al Golden.
Thank you very much. Honored to be here, humbled to be here. Jeff, thank you so much for everything that you've done here with the Broyles Award, and we're just grateful to be here. Dave, same with you. 3 cups a day is what they've prescribed for you, Dave. Mark May, thank you for all you've done for college football. I said it to you earlier, but we really appreciate it. You were on the front end of that. Molly, Betsy, thank you so much. Wayne, thanks for putting this together and combining forces here. And Des, thank you for picking against us 6 times this year. We won 14 games. He picked against us 6 times. It's unbelievable. All right, so Dave has told us like 9 times that if we don't start with our family, we're in trouble. So, the last 3 years, I had the great fortune of playing in the Super Bowl, coaching in the Super Bowl, and coaching in the national championship game. But the greatest day of my life was the day I met Kelly. Kelly, stand up, please. My wife, Kelly Golden. So Kelly and I have 3 wonderful children. AJ, who is a freshman at Notre Dame, and then 2 in high school in Cincinnati, Addison and Grace. And they allow me to do what I love to do. And they make it easy. And Kelly, I love you. Thank you so much. To the guys on the dais here, just unbelievable group right here now. Marcus is the 2nd best athlete in his family. Brian, unbelievable job this year. Tim, awesome. Pete, great riding with you today. It's been phenomenal getting to know you guys, but what a blessing to be up here. It's humbling. Coach Broyles, when I first fell in love with football, it was to the voice of Coach Broyles. I'm older than a lot of these guys up here, but that was Saturday afternoon for me. Keith Jackson and Coach Broyles, and I know some of you guys can remember that, but that's when I started to fall in love with football. And then I'm thinking of Coach here, the high school coaches in the room. I had a chance to say hello to Mike Sean today from Cascade, just passing him in the airport, and just making sure that they understand, the high school coaches, that they are the stewards of this now. There's very few things in our communities that can bring people together. Just look at this. There's very few things that can bring people together like football, and bring us to action like football. And the high school coaches are at the fore of that. They're at the forefront of that. So I just wanted to pay tribute to all the high school coaches here. Just congratulations to you. And I also want to segue into my journey. Now, Dave said we have about 5 to 7 minutes, but you're talking about 31 years now. So, I gotta cram this in. But, if I didn't have a high school coach in Lou Montanaro back in Red Bank Catholic High School that wasn't a transformational leader, I don't know if I would be where I am today. And every step along the journey, I took some of it with me until it became my DNA. So from Red Bank Catholic High School, I was Coach Paterno's captain at Penn State. I know Mark's, over there just stomping on the ground over there as a Pitt Panther. I know, I can see it. So, but, and I coached with Joe for a year, but Joe left an indelible mark on my life because he taught us that if you take care of the person, if you develop the person in the community, in the classroom, all those different things, that ultimately that person will take care of the player. That person will take care of the student athlete. And that's always stayed with me. And then from there, obviously, I had an opportunity, when I was done playing with Coach, to go to the University of Virginia, where I met 3 people that really changed my life dramatically. The first was Rick Lance, defensive coordinator, phenomenal defensive coordinator for decades in college football. One is for all the golfers out there, Doc Rotella. I was a master's student in sports psychology, and Dr. Rotella was the renowned in the profession, and I had a chance to mentor under him, and of course, college football Hall of Famer George Welsh. And those guys just changed my life and made me fall in love with coaching and teaching and making people the best version that they could be. From there, Tom O'Brien, who I believe should be in the College Football Hall of Fame, his incredible bowl record, over 100 wins at BC, just a tremendous, tremendous coach and someone that believed in me and gave me a start. And then I had an opportunity to meet Al Groh. I thought I knew football until I met Coach Groh, and he taught me more about football in 5 years. It was incredible. And there's so many others along the way. Jim Caldwell, had a chance to work for Matt Patricia in Detroit as well. And then Zach Taylor, we went to the Super Bowl there. And then Coach Freeman, where I want to spend time here tonight with. Thank you to Coach Freeman for believing in me, but not just believing in me, but to create and foster an environment that allowed me to be the best that I could be, that allowed all of the coaches on his staff to be the best that they could possibly be. And it was an incredible 1,000 days, not just with Coach Freeman, but with all the assistants that I had the pleasure to work with. Sometimes when you talk about the staff that you work with, they think you're talking about just the immediate staff. And our defensive staff was awesome with Al Washington, Mike Mickens, who's going to be invited here very soon, Max Bulla, Marty Biaggi, our quality control, our defensive assistants, all of those guys. But also the offensive staff. You know, Bryant mentioned it earlier. I can't say enough that cohesiveness, that culture reminded me of the great coaches like Coach Broyles, what Coach Freeman has fostered up there. I want to say thank you. Mark mentioned it earlier. We had an incredibly tough loss in week 2, very humbling loss. And from that moment on, we decided that we were gonna do everything we could to reach our full potential, to be the best version that we could possibly be, day in and day out, and to not worry about anything but the moment. And it's very hard to do anything for the first time at Notre Dame, but we were able to win 13 in a row. We were able to win the Orange Bowl. We were able to win the Sugar Bowl, obviously played for a national title, hosted our first college football playoff game, all of those things. But all of that would not have happened if it wasn't for the players, the student athletes. People ask me all the time, in this age of transactional sports, what it was like to coach at Notre Dame. And I'll say this, it was the greatest 1,000 days of my career to be associated and to wake up and coach those young men every day. Because there is a place in northern Indiana where young men go that still think it's important to be great in the community. They still think it's important to be awesome in the classroom. They still think it's important and vital to have a spiritual component in your life. And it's all fostered by a head coach that provides a culture. And I was just blessed to be a part of that for just a brief moment. And for them, I'm grateful for this opportunity to be up here. And I can't thank the players enough and the opportunity that they provided, not just myself, but my family, to go on that journey with them. And for that, I will be forever grateful. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I am grateful. I'm touched to be here. I know Kelly and I are just, just from the bottom of my heart, just the hospitality, the welcomeness that everybody has shown us. You have nothing but gratitude from us, and we are so grateful to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
Our next finalist is defensive coordinator Tim Banks from Tennessee. Started his career as a player at Central Michigan, was a 2-time All-MAC player. Then he went on to coach at Cincinnati, Illinois, and Penn State as a defensive coordinator, but his best work was probably this last year at Tennessee as their defensive coordinator. They are ferocious, particularly in the early part of the season. It's interesting, every time I talk to one of these coaches, every once in a while I ask them a question that's very simple. What's your goal? Is it to go to the NFL to be a coach? Is it to be a head coach in college football? Well, I asked him that about 2 hours ago. And he said, I want to be a head coach. I want to mold young men. I want to help them grow and teach them the game. And that's always refreshing with these coaches when you talk to them what their goals and aspirations are. So for Tim Banks, let's get to the videotape.
Tim Banks, defensive coordinator, Tennessee.
A fake, now a fire downfield, intercepted by Tennessee at the 35-yard line.
When opponents got ready to face Tennessee in 2024, they knew scoring was going to be tough to come by. That's all thanks to the unit defensive coordinator Tim Banks has built in his 4 seasons on Rocky Top. Ranked first in the FBS in 4th down conversions, 4th in scoring defense, and 4th in yards per play allowed, the Volunteer defense held 10 of their 12 opponents during the regular season to 20 points or less. Thanks to the help of the defense Banks put on the field, Tennessee won 10 games for the 2nd time in 3 years and punched their ticket to the college football playoffs. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Tim Banks.
Wow, thank you guys, really appreciate it. Jeff, appreciate you, and Dave, appreciate you guys. Now Dave, you got me in trouble a little bit. I'm gonna tell you, I think I got started in '96 as well, and I wasn't making $150,000, I think is what you mentioned, Andrew was making. I drugged my wife down to Ferris State University, a Division II school, and I think I was making $10,000, and I told her that's all we were going to make. That's what coaches made in this time of the year. So, it's been a great ride for me. It really has been. Again, starting Division II, I tell guys all the time, the best coaches, I think, are the high school coaches because they got to teach every single bit of it, right? They got to be able to mold the young man. Sometimes you got to teach them how to get in a stance. I applaud you guys that are here right now. I also want to thank you, Miss Betsy and Molly, the Broyles, Foundation. That really is, for me, close to my heart. My grandmother, toward the end, she had Alzheimer's. So I understand what that means when you're dealing with something of that nature. So I appreciate you guys and everything you guys are doing. I really do. This journey, has been awesome. I want to thank you guys. It's hard. Being a coach is hard. Having a chance to, not just coach football, but, teach life skills. You got to wear a lot of different hats. So, I commend you guys that are sitting here, one of the best offensive coaches in the country, a ton of defensive coaches in the country. You guys have done a remarkable job to get to this stage. So appreciate your time. This whole thing has been awesome. It really has been. I knew about the Broyles Award. Again, I've been coaching since '96 is when I got going. And, I look in the book and I see a lot of guys that I've worked with, or a lot of guys that, have come under me. And to be standing here right now in front of you guys is just really a blessing for me. If you know me, I'm faith-driven, and that started with my mom. It was 3 years in February, I lost my mom. But, when you think about things, the impact that she had on me, just teaching me what discipline looked like, teaching me how important education was, those are the things that I've always tried to instill into our players. It's not always been easy. I stand in front of you, I hear all these accolades and all these things, but again, as a coach, it's tough. You win some, you lose some, but with all of that, my wife has always been there. She's always been by my side. And I know these coaches won't tell, I would tell you, I've not always been great to live with after a loss. I like to think I've gotten better, but she's always been strong for me. She's always had the wisdom to, pick me up and give me that tough talk when I need it as well. So, Robin, I appreciate you. If you can stand up a little bit. It's my wife, Robin. I also want to thank, Coach Heupel. We took this job, I guess, 4 years ago now, and, a lot of guys said, that was going to be a tough job, but it's been nothing but awesome. I didn't know Coach Heupel when I took the job. I knew a couple guys that were on that staff, and, I'm old enough now in this profession. I don't want to be anywhere, that's going to be a situation that's not going to help me grow as a person, grow as a husband, grow as a leader. And he's been outstanding. He's the same every day. He's got great energy, great juice. He sets the table and the culture for everything that we're doing. So I just want to thank Coach Heupel for, giving me an opportunity to come to work with him up in Rocky Top. I also want to thank the defensive coaching staff. Just like a head coach, the assistants are the backbone of everything. It's no different with your position groups or the defense side of the ball. Rodney Gardner's done a tremendous job for us. Willie Martinez, who coaches our secondary, has done a tremendous job. You know, you think about, you know, Coach Eckler, who was with us as well, you know, during this past season. You know, even our quality control coaches, Coach Nick, Coach Chop, you know, all the way down to Coach E.T. You know, we just have a tremendous staff. And for me, that's super important. You know, when I wake up, you know, when I do that backflip to get to work, that's real. And it's because of the guys that I go to work with. You know, we're smart, they're driven. You know, we have uncomfortable conversations, but I think any household has that. And it's been awesome to go to work with those guys, and I really appreciate them. And hopefully I didn't miss anybody, because we got a lot of guys in that room. These staffs have grown tremendously. But, you know, from the top to the bottom, I just think, again, you know, everything that we've done has been because of those guys. You know, I'm an inner city guy. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. You know, I heard Coach Golden talk a little bit about his high school experience. You know, I played at Martin Luther King High School, played for the late Jim Reynolds and Dale Harvell. Both of those guys are in the Coaches Hall of Fame in Michigan. And I would tell you, those guys have really planted the bug in me, you know, to be a coach and what a coach really looks like. You know, having those hard conversations, coaching you tough, coaching you hard, but then loving you up. I can remember those guys picking me up and driving me home sometimes. You know, so that's all I knew. You know, tough love. You know, we talk about it as a defensive unit. You know, love is being able to tell somebody the truth. You know, and that's how we build our program, by telling guys the truth. You know, we talk about building trust. You know, those guys took me over the weekends. My mom was fortunate enough to believe in those guys as well. And, you know, we would go on different outings and, you know, building team camaraderie. You know, all those things were instrumental for me in being a coach that I am now, because I try to instill those things as well. You know, I've heard the conversations about NIL and things of that nature. It doesn't bother me at all, you know, because at the end of the day, it's our job to teach those guys. And this is just another tool, another opportunity for me to help these young men grow. So coaching is everything to me. You know, football has been extremely good to me. You know, I love what I do. I love the culture that we're building on Rocky Top. You know, having a chance to be with these 4 finalists, you know, was obviously a blessing for me, and I'm super excited for it. You know, but we're all winners. You know, we get a chance to go to work and do what we all love to do, coach the game of football. I don't know there's any better job. I can't imagine doing anything outside of that. You know, I appreciate you guys. I truly appreciate the time. You know, looking forward to getting a chance to mingle with you guys afterward. But, you know, I just want to, again, you know, thank our coaches, staff, honor you guys, and appreciate everything you guys have done. And, you know, let's enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Our next finalist is defensive coordinator from Texas, Pete Kwiatkowski. He started his career as a player at Boise State, was Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year, coached in the Northwest, at some of the schools in the Northwest at Boise State and Washington. Then he goes to Texas as defensive coordinator. They make the transition from the Big 12 to the SEC. So the biggest question is, can they compete with the SEC defensively? Well, I guess that question was answered, because they're a much better team in 2024 than 2023. And after losing 4 players to the NFL draft, 2 of them drafted in the first and the second round, they were both defensive tackles, he was able to take this team and get them back to the playoff. And that's great coaching defensively. And if you look at this Texas football team, when they stalled offensively this past season, and they did, the defense picked it up. And the reason? That coach. Let's get the videotape.
Pete Kwiatkowski, defensive coordinator, Texas.
When Texas joined the SEC, some questioned whether the Longhorns would have the same kind of success there as they did in the Big 12.
Texas brings pressure. Stockton backpedaling, throws it, and throw right to Texas. Intercepted by Shadé Barron.
But those questions were put to bed quickly as the Longhorns made the college football playoff semifinals for a second straight year. Defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski was a big reason for that, leading a Texas defense that was 3rd in the nation in total defense, allowing 283.4 yards per game, and held their opponents to an average of 15.3 points per game. The Longhorns defense was a staple in all of their wins this season and will go down as one of the best in program history. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Pete Kwiatkowski.
Well, thank you. It's an awesome honor to be here with these great coaches and the Broyles Award, Broyles Foundation. It's an awesome opportunity to experience this. Betsy, Molly, David, thank you. Jeff, Jeff disappeared on us. There he is, right there. All right. My host, Mike, you've been awesome. The hospitality's been incredible. Me and my wife, two of my daughters, I have three, are having a blast. All right. So, with that being said, I've done this before. I don't want to do this again. All right. Oh, by the way, the last time I was here, the crowd was a lot more. Yes. All right, I got some hook'em horns since I've been here, and then that's the first one I got since I've been here. All right, but it's been awesome. So my wife of 32 years, met her 38 years ago. Laura, please stand up. She's the offensive coordinator of the family, Marcus, and then two of our daughters, Shelby. Is our oldest, and our youngest, who's a sophomore at UT, Olivia, has joined us, and our third one is working in Seattle, Riley. She couldn't make it. Our staff, all right? So when it comes to me personally, right, through my progression through this, my 36 years of coaching, I've placed a lot of value in. And I've come to realize this and learn this over the years, but I put a lot of value in who I work for and who I work with. As these guys can attest, it's hard to win games, and you're not going to win them all. And so who you put yourself around that you work with on a day in and day out basis is critical to your happiness. Because every day you're coming in and you're going to battle with these guys. You're trying to make a game plan. Put the players in the best position they can be to succeed. And you want those guys that have your back, all right, that are good dudes and are grinders. And the staff that we have at Texas, right, it all starts with Coach Sarkisian and the culture he has developed with the assistant coaches, starting with Terry Joseph, our secondary coach, Blake Gideon, our safeties coach, Johnny Nansen, our linebacker coach, Kenny Baker, our D-line coach, quality control, our analyst, Brandon Hupert, Kenuto Hudson. All these guys are unbelievable people, unbelievable dudes, and it's a joy to go and work with these guys every day. And then the thing that besides being good dudes is they are able to prepare their players, right, at a high level, week in and week out. Now, I'll get into the players here in a minute, but when you have a collection of guys that are as quality as the coaches that we have at Texas, and you show up day in and day out, right, and you punch that clock to prepare our guys and put them in the best position to execute and play at a high level, that last year is the result of that hard work. And so I can't thank those guys enough. All right, these awards, whoever wins this tonight, it always one guy gets that recognition, but it's like you heard earlier, it's a compilation of all the hard work that everybody does in our program. So a little something about my story, all right? I grew up in Santa Barbara, California. My mom and dad, mom was an accountant. My father was a commercial fisherman. Grew up surfing, skateboarding. My first football experience was when I was, I think I was 8. It was Super Bowl IX. It was the Minnesota Vikings versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Purple People Eaters and the Steel Curtain. And that was my first recollection and memory of football. And it hooked me. From that time on, I was all about ball. My parents, who were very competitive, all right, taught me how to treat people with respect, right? And treat people like you want to be treated. Let me proceed to play football, right? So moving on, I ended up going to Boise State where I meet my wife, all right, having my cup of coffee in the NFL, CFL and start getting into coaching, right? My parents weren't coaches. I had no background in coaching. Coaching found me, right, because football didn't want me anymore, right, as a player. And so I wanted to be a part of something, right, and stay involved with football. And to do that, two coaches that coached me, Jim Fleming, Chuck Pagano, were coaches, and you're a smart guy, right? You need to come and try this coaching thing out. So when I came back from CFO, I started coaching. And that was 36 years ago. Was my first go around at it, and came up. Was there for 9 years making peanuts. Right. Me and my wife got married. We had our first child, Shelby, and loving it. It was great. Bounce on to Snow College, right? So worked for two coaches at Boise State, Pokey Allen and Skip Hall. Skip Hall gave me my first opportunity coaching, and then Pokey Allen taught me the importance of offense, defense, working together with special teams, right? And then I moved on to Eastern Washington, right? Mike Kramer was my next mentor. He gave me my first opportunity as a defensive coordinator. And so what I'm getting at is all these different guys that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of their staffs. I've taken little things from every one of these guys, and then it's helped make me the coach I am today. And so being here at this, I'm not a big beat my chest guy, and so being here in front of all you, right, with an opportunity to be recognized, be one of the top assistants in the country is a complete honor. I'm very humbled. I'm very blessed. I'm very gracious to be a part of this game, and all you guys, everybody's deserving of this award, and I'm just extremely fortunate to be here. And thank you, and God bless, and hook 'em.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to our 2024 Broyles Award class. What a great group of finalists. Well done. All the ladies behind these guys, thank you for being here. We hope you have a great night tonight. Tomorrow at the races, there will be races named after every one of our finalists. Can't say thank you to everybody here in this room. You made this happen. We're doing this in honor of Coach Broyles and what they're doing at the Broyles Foundation. We can't do it without you. Wayne, thank you so much for Oaklawn, City of Hot Springs, all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Record-setting crowd. Thank you for being here tonight. Betsy, Molly, come on up. Desmond, Mark, come on up. As always, this is always a close vote. Every one of you had a first place, at least one or two, at least everybody had first place votes. But only one can take away this. And so you guys will always follow all 5 of your careers. If you don't win, hope you come back and win it the next year. But only one win. Molly, Betsy, thank you for being here. Let's announce the winner.
Before we announce the winner, we want to say congratulations to all 5 of you finalists. Each one of you is deserving to take this trophy home. We're really proud of this class. And I know I speak for Mom, too, when I say, for our first year in Hot Springs, to sit on this stage and look at this crowd and this room full of people, it means so much to us.
Yes, it does.
Thank you for supporting this award and the foundation. Thank you. Okay. All right.
And the winner is
Al Golden, Notre Dame.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here tonight. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thanks for supporting the Broyles Award. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next year. Good night. Congratulations.